get things changed for the betterment of the game, to get them up to speed with the times. Make changes to the game so that the viewers have a better experience. And at every turn, she has been met with force. She's been denied nonstop, and she talks about it. Let's hear what the legend Sue Bird had to say about the physicality of the WNBA and how she has tried to get some of these things changed.
I just want to talk a little bit about the physicality of the league. There's so much conversation about.
The WNBA continues to face public scrutiny, this time centered on comments from Hall of Famer Sue Bird regarding the league's physicality and its resistance to rule changes. Bird, widely regarded as one of the greatest point guards in basketball history from her days at UConn through her professional career, recently spoke out about attempts she made to push for adjustments meant to modernize the game and improve the viewing experience. According to her, those efforts were repeatedly rejected. Bird addressed what she described as a false narrative suggesting that WNBA players wear the league's physical style as a point of pride.
Conversation about it. Is it too physical? Is it not? All these things. And I think there's been this narrative that's gone around that we, and I'm going to include myself here, we as WNBA players talk about the physicality in our league with like a badge of honor, right? And I don't think that's the case at all.
I do think that's the case, Sue Bird. I got to be honest with you. I'm going to disagree with you on that part. I do feel like, the whole Diana Taurasi saying, oh, her time's come.
She pushed back on that idea, clarifying that while players have defended the physical nature of the league when questioned about it, that doesn't mean they actually enjoy playing that way. She explained that officiating plays a major role, since referees often allow high levels of contact, and players simply adapt to what's being permitted, rather than actively seeking out rough play. She pointed out that most players, herself included, never wanted the game to be this physical, noting she was frequently the first to react when contact went too far during her playing days. Beyond referee inconsistency, Bird also raised concerns about the foul limit system.
Coming and reality's coming and this and that. The WNBA players have bragged about how physical it is and yada, yada, yada. They have wore it like a badge of honor and bragged about it.
I personally don't feel that way. But when challenged about the physicality of the league and the historical physicality of the league, yes, we say, yes, this is a physical league. Like, yeah, it's a grown woman's league. Like, yeah, you got to be ready for it. And the only reason why I want to bring that up is because
she explained that she brought this issue directly to team owners and league meetings, questioning why players are allowed 6 personal fouls in a 40-minute game. She noted that number was borrowed from the NBA, where games run 48 minutes, making the math inconsistent for a shorter game format. She pointed out that college basketball, international leagues, and USA basketball national team play all operate using a 5-foul limit, meaning a shorter foul threshold isn't a new or radical concept. She argued that keeping the 6-foul rule under the justification of protecting star players from fouling out actually allows nearly a dozen extra fouls per game across a roster, which only adds to the physical toll on the floor.
Like, yeah, you got to be ready for it. And the only reason why I want to bring that up is because while it's true that we have defended the physicality, it's not true that it's because we want it to be that way or like it that way. I think for a really long time, it's something we've talked about. But when the refs do ref the game and allow physicality, we're kind of just playing in it.
These refs are terrible. We all know the refs are bums. We know that.
And of course, what refs allow, you're going to take. And that's really what you're seeing in our game. I would argue that most players don't want it to be this physical. I was the first.
There's broad agreement that something needs to change regarding officiating and physicality, especially given the number of injuries currently affecting the league. Many argue the constant contact makes for a rough, difficult product to watch, and hope Bird's advocacy leads to real rule adjustments soon. Separately, comments from Kelsey Plum have drawn criticism after she pushed back against the idea that players simply need to perform better to justify higher pay. Critics argue the on-court product has suffered lately, pointing to a broader shooting slump across the league, not isolated to any single player.
I would argue that most players don't want it to be this physical. I was the first one with my hand up when I was playing. Do you think I wanted it to be physical? Then you've never seen me play. No, I did not want it to be physical.
So Sue Bird is letting it be known that she did not want all of this physicality and how it didn't suit her either, and it is a problem. Let's see what else she had to say about it.
This to multiple owners. I said this in competition meetings. I never understood why in a 40-minute basketball game, we got 6 personal fouls. And
while Caitlin Clark's shooting struggles have drawn attention, with a stretch of just one made three-pointer in 23 attempts over 3 games, other players have posted similarly rough stretches. Sabrina Ionescu shot 2 of 17 from 3 over 2 recent games. Paige Buchers went 2 of 17 over 5 games. Maisha Hines-Allen shot 2 of 17 over 3 games. And Kelsey Plum herself shot 4 of 22 over 4 games. Field goal percentage across the league has also dropped, alongside a noticeable rise in fouling and flagrant contact, leading some to compare the on-court product to a chaotic, overly physical style rather than clean basketball. Critics say games have become difficult to watch, citing an example where a game was tied 30-30 at halftime, a score more typical of a lower level of competition.
And a lot of times I was met with, well, we don't want our star players fouling out. And just to give a little bit of context, the 6 fouls is definitely like not a hangover, but we got it from the NBA game, right? But they play 48 minutes, so it makes sense.
The NBA, they play 48 minutes, and they actually call fouls in the NBA. You guys have 6 fouls, and you don't even get called for 90% of them. Y'all get the flagrant, knock people heads off, all types of stuff. So I agree. Y'all should have.
The consensus among critics is that if players want increased pay, the on-court product needs to improve, including sharper shooting and cleaner overall play. There's also criticism directed at league leadership, including Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, for not addressing the excessive fouling and physicality sooner. When Plum attributed some of the rough play to player fatigue, and Satu Sabali referenced the number of games played in a short span, critics rejected that explanation, arguing that fatigue isn't a valid excuse when players are pushing for higher salaries. The comparison was made to the NBA's much longer 82-game season, with critics insisting that if players want more money, complaints about tiredness don't hold up, especially compared to everyday workers managing regular full-time schedules.
Y'all get the flagrant, knock people heads off, all types of stuff. So I agree. Y'all should have 5 fouls. That should eliminate a lot of this hacking going on.
We play with 5 fouls overseas. We play with 5 fouls in college. We play with 5 fouls in national team play with USA Basketball. So this isn't 5 fouls in 40 minutes. This isn't something new. Right. And like I said, I was always met with, well, we don't want our star players fouling out. But by my math, by giving every player on a roster that 1 extra personal foul, you're allowing your best player to get fouled technically 11 more times a game than needed.
The overall message from critics is that a better on-court product needs to come first before increased pay becomes a reasonable expectation. Former WNBA player Cheryl Swoops is back in the headlines. Swoops spent her professional career with the Houston Comets and won 3 league titles, though she missed the first championship season while on maternity leave. She's been out of the professional spotlight for years now, but recent remarks have brought her name back into conversation.
11 more times a game than needed.
Yeah.
That's just my take. 3.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with what Sue Bird says right there. I think you got to do something about the fouling. The fouling is too much. It's too much, y'all. It is too much. They need to do something about it. It's ridiculous. Nobody wants to see that. It's bad basketball. Look at all the injuries you have in the W right now. I mean, just look at all of the injuries. It's ridiculous.
Women's college basketball has long overshadowed the professional league in terms of general popularity, and today's biggest names, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese among them, have become major stars in their own right. There's been discussion around whether top college players are better off staying in school rather than turning pro, given the massive gap between NIL earnings and average league salaries. Some players reportedly earn hundreds of thousands through NIL deals in college, compared to a fraction of that once they turn professional. It would make financial sense for a player in that position to stay in college as long as possible, though that's a separate topic.
We're going back a long way, guys, like 30 years. I don't remember exactly what I said to her. I probably didn't even speak to her, to tell you the truth, but anyway. I haven't heard the name Cheryl Swoops in quite a while, okay? She hasn't played basketball in the WNBA for a while. But I've always said it, guys, that women's college basketball is way more popular than the WNBA. I mean, when it comes to college basketball today, man, people are talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
The main issue at hand involves comments Swoops made regarding race, which appear tied to frustration over Clark surpassing her in the record books. Clark became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball history, breaking a mark previously held by Swoops. That context adds weight to speculation that resentment may have influenced her remarks. Some accused her of racism over the comments, though whether that label truly applies is debatable. What does seem clear is that bitterness played a role.
When it comes to college basketball today, man, people are talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They are big-time stars. And I was actually reading something the other day where, I don't remember who it was, but this one college basketball player that's a female, they were actually saying she should actually stay in college because she would actually make more money with NIL deals than the WNBA, which is a fact. I believe this player, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it may be Angel Reese. I don't remember exactly. But anyway.
She previously walked back some of her statements after getting facts wrong, but is now facing backlash again over new comments about race. According to reporting, Swoops claimed that black people are incapable of being racist, a statement that doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Racism isn't limited to any one group. People of any background can hold and express racist views, a fact that doesn't require much explanation. There's a narrative that racism only flows in one direction, and Swoops appeared to lean into that idea, citing a close white friend as evidence that she personally couldn't hold prejudiced views.
Is a fact. I believe this player, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it may be Angel Reese. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, they make something like $900,000 in college. You go to the WNBA, guess what? You're making what? $100,000 on average? Something like that? Yeah, that is a huge pay cut. So if I was actually in college on basketball, I would actually hold out and play all my years, as many years as I can, in women's college basketball. But anyway, that's a different story, so I digress. Sheryl Swoops made a...
That reasoning doesn't really add up. Reports indicate Swoops criticized Clark's achievements, suggesting she didn't deserve the recognition she's received for breaking major scoring records. Clark set the NCAA women's all-time scoring record in mid-February, helping lead Iowa to a strong finish in the national tournament.
Sheryl Swoops made a controversial comment about black people and race. Now, it seems like she is extremely jealous that Caitlin Clark actually became the women's NCAA all-time leading scorer. She also broke a record by Sheryl Swoops also as well. So it seems like she's extremely salty. Now, apparently some people actually called Sheryl Swoops racist.
She also broke a tournament scoring record previously held by Swoops, posting 191 points across 6 NCAA tournament games, surpassing the 177-point mark Swoops set for Texas Tech back in 1993. It's not unusual for athletes to feel some type of way when long-standing records fall. Even legends like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar reportedly weren't thrilled when LeBron James broke his scoring record. Records exist to be broken, and that's simply part of sports.
I don't know if her comments were necessarily racist, but it definitely seemed like Sheryl Swoops was salty. Very, very salty. And apparently she got some things wrong also as well. She backtracked. She came out and apologized, I guess you can say. But now, guys, she is in hot water again for what she said about black people and racism. And it makes absolutely no sense.
Still, in this case, the reaction seemed to go beyond typical competitiveness. Swoops' criticisms of Clark reportedly included inaccurate statistics, and many online pointed out that the attacks seemed to target Clark specifically because of her race, given that Clark is white. That's a claim that can't be confirmed either way, but the underlying jealousy does seem apparent regardless of any racial motivation.
Absolutely no sense. So let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member live stream every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We appreciate the support. So let's get into it, guys. Check this out. Ex-WNBA player Cheryl Swoops insists black people can't be racist. This has to be one of the dumbest statements I think I've ever seen.
Among the inaccurate claims, Swoops reportedly accused Clark of using an extra year of eligibility and taking around 40 shots per game. Both statements were significantly off base. Clark didn't use any additional eligibility, and her actual shot attempts were roughly half of what was claimed. The backlash online was significant, with many calling the comments racially motivated, given the false narrative aimed at a white athlete.
Racist. This has to be one of the dumbest statements I think I've ever seen. Newsflash, guys. White people aren't the only people that can be racist. Everybody, regardless of skin color, ethnicity, can be racist. And I'm black myself. I've definitely heard black people say racist things about white people. It's just a fact. Okay? There's a narrative out there that only white people can be racist.
In her own words, Swoops pushed back against accusations of racism, stating that black people can't be racist by definition, and that the idea was far removed from her mindset. She described growing up in a small, predominantly white town.
There's a narrative out there that only white people can be racist. Now, Cheryl Swoops tries to actually set this up. She actually says her best friend is white. That is the excuse right there. So apparently she can't be racist, or black people can't be racist because she has a white friend. This is astonishing, guys. This doesn't make any sense to me. But let's read this, guys. Former Women's National Basketball Association star Cheryl Swoops is fighting back, saying that black people...
That claim, that black individuals are incapable of racism, simply isn't accurate. History offers plenty of counterexamples. During the unrest of 2020, there were documented instances of racial hostility directed at white individuals tied to certain activist movements.